I'm just going to take one day at a time. God gives us strength for the next day. There's so many scriptures about that. And that's the wisdom of God, and that's the wisdom of my parents. When I asked them the bigger questions of my future, they're like, well, look, just take one day at a time. God's with you, and you're like, yeah, okay, but how's that going to work out, right? That's what we want. We're stressed. I want to know the plan. What's the plan?
Yeah.
And God's like, well, if I give you a plan, then what's the point of having faith?
You had mentioned it earlier, just briefly, but you did attempt to take your life. And how old were you, and what sort of led to that? And did you ever think when that happened that you would get out?
Well, first of all, I never thought that I'd be married, and I feel like the fear of being alone is one of the greatest fears When you come back, no, I am a child of God. I am wonderfully and fearfully made. And it's not to say that we need necessarily a mission or a ministry or a title to have the purpose of God. The greatest purpose of God that we have is to know Him, love Him, walk with Him, be with Him, talk to Him, and live as eternal beings with our eternal Father while we are still yet here. Our value is not determined on what we do. Our value is knowing who we are in Him trusting in Him one day at a time.
That's so good. That reminds me of something we say in our church every single week. We do this creed that was inspired by a guy named Henry Nouwen, great authors, and we say, I'm not what I do. I'm not what I have. I'm not what people say about me. I'm the beloved of God. Now, of course, what we do, we are what we do in some ways. We are what we have in some ways. If you have $1 million, you're a millionaire. If you have nothing, you're broke. If you do good, you're in some ways a good person. If you do bad, but at the heart of it, the scriptures teaches that it all begins with grace, this idea that we're loved first despite what we do, what we have, what others say about us. And the reason I think it's so important is your story highlights what I think undergirds not only depression, but addiction, anxiety, and that is we need friends. We need family, and we need the Lord. And the deepest human need is to connect deeply with God and with other people. And like for me, if I'm connecting deeply with the Lord or with my wife or with my kids or my best friends, I don't have those nagging, like, I don't want to wake up today, like you would if you had depression or urges to sin or to do evil.